What's up with our YouTube? Double D here with Tournage du Bois. Welcome back. Today we have this piece of spalted sycamore. That spalting is absolutely beautiful. Now it's important though, when you're turning spalted wood, use a respirator. I cannot stress that enough. You do not want those mold spores and things getting up into your lungs from that spalting. That being said, got the art show coming up. I want to do another splash vase, make it a little bit taller out of this spalted material. I think that's going to look absolutely beautiful. So let's get rolling. All right, so I currently have this between centers. So I have a drive spur in my larger chuck jaws down here. That's just going to hold that and spin it. The tailstock here is going to keep this centered. Now what I want to do, I'm going to kind of start rounding this off. Then I'm going to put a tenon on this end so I can flip it around, but I want this to be the base. So that way I can put a good tenon and start shaping it down here before I flip it around again to do the final shape, cutting, and start hollowing. I will not be doing a lot of talking during this just because I will have my respirator on. So just be aware of that. But I'm excited about this. I love doing these pieces. They're a lot of fun. So let's go have some fun. All right, we have that rough shaped. Keep in mind that it's still rough, obviously. We're gonna flip this around and get the real tenon and the base on. Then I can finish the shaping, make sure everything is nice and smooth. Then we can sand the outside. We'll start hollowing the inside, and then we'll start the carving effect at the top. So as you can see, this is kind of a water drop shape, so it's gonna have that splash effect at the top that I really enjoy doing. And the spalting in this is just spectacular. So really excited about this. I think this is gonna be beautiful, but let's get it flipped around. Now we got it flipped around, so we're going to reshape it. We're gonna flatten off this end, then we'll start hollowing, but we will sand this first. All right, so I did a coat of sanding sealer. I have a little bit of a crack here. Now that might carve out, but I want to make sure. And then I have another small crack right down here at the bottom. I'm going to use my Star Bond medium thick black to fill that. That'll match up with the spalting if it does remain, and we'll get that going. Sanding sealer is used to keep the black glue from staining, actually any of the glues from staining the wood piece, which is important to avoid any sort of discoloration. All right, we have that sanded up to 320 grit. We're now going to hit it with our denatured alcohol. This is going to clean all the dust off of it, but it's also going to do a couple other things. Number one, it's going to stand that grain up just a little bit so we can knock it back and get an even smoother sand on it. The other thing is it's going to give us a preview of what the piece is going to look like. So I'm super excited about this. I think that looks spectacular. Let me know what you think in the comments. That spalting is just beautiful. But that beauty is also why we wear a respirator while we're turning it. We're going to give that a couple of minutes to dry. Then we're going to sand that with 400 grit, and then we're going to hit it with our abrasive paste from Brad's workbench. And then we'll get started hollowing. All right, we are back. We're gonna sanding seal the inside. That way we can get a little bit better sanding job on it. Check any cracks that we might have, glue those, etc. So I won't show you this whole process, but that's what we're doing now. So I do have a couple of little cracks I'm going to seal up just to be safe. Once again, using the Starbond Black. If you do need some Starbond, there is a discount code down in the description. Use the coupon code DD15 to get 15% off of your Starbond order. So I'm going to use the Ram BP50. This is a brushless 50,000 RPM grinder, and we will go and get the carving done. All right, so we have that all carved up. Now, boatloads of sanding, which is everybody's favorite. I'm not gonna make you watch that, but I'm off.
One eternity later.
All right, we are back. It's been a bit, to say the easiest, but just gonna clean it up with denatured alcohol. I have this sanded up to 320 grit by hand. Clean this up with some denatured alcohol, then we'll go back, hit it with the 400, and then get to our finish. Not gonna do any abrasive paste on this part. You can't really do the abrasion to get it to all work out appropriately. So, just gonna leave this as is, sanded. It might do 600 grit, but at any rate, just cleaning it up, popping the grain, we'll hit it again, then we'll start that finished process, and we will then get it parted off and go from there. So, really excited to see the end in sight, and we'll see you in a bit. All right, we are back. So this is obviously a large piece. It's about 10.5 inches tall, approximately 8 inches across at the base. Yeah, so it's quite a bit larger than any of the others I have done. We're going to finish this with the Tung honey from Brad's workbench. If you have not tried his finish and abrasive paste, I highly recommend it. Anybody who's watched this channel for a long time knows that I do, but there is a coupon code if you want to give it a try. Double D10 will get you a 10% off code when you shop at his Etsy store. So the link is down below in the description to his Etsy store. If you go there and you use that coupon code, you will get a little discount on that. So definitely go give it a try. I love how this goes on. It just is so nice. It soaks right in. I put this on, I let it sit overnight. Usually close to 24 hours is how long I let it sit total for, and then I wipe off any excess. And if it needs to, if it soaks up a lot, then I will go put a second coat on. Rarely have I needed to do that though, because I do put it on rather liberally so that it can soak in and not absorb completely. It just really brings out the color of that wood. It just accentuates that spalting. The whole look of the piece just is beautiful. And this leaves it with a nice, long-lasting matte finish. I prefer a matte finish on wood, just plain wood. I know a lot of people like glossy look. That's perfectly fine. I personally prefer the matte look. Like I said, just goes on beautifully. Just starts absorbing right away. Really accentuates that graining with the spalting in it, and is just absolutely beautiful. So I started using Brad's finish 2021, maybe a little bit before that I gave it a try. I started doing all my woodworking, wood turning projects in 2020 with the pandemic. So this is a pandemic hobby that has kind of taken off, and I absolutely love every bit of this process. But I started using it then, and there were pieces that I made back then that I know the people who have them, and I have seen them, and they still look as good today as they did when I put this finish on at that point. So definitely, like I said, this is a long-lasting, durable finish. You will not be disappointed. And while this is large enough to put my hand inside of this, never, ever, ever sand with your hand inside the piece. So I'll just tell you that right now. Don't do it on the lathe. For those of you who are newer, haven't maybe been turning very long, just resist that urge to do that, because all that can do is result in some serious injury. If that comes loose, it's going to hit your arm. It could break the bones depending on speed, everything else. So just always be safe with what you're doing, how you do it. Always approach it in a safe manner, and just take precautions. That's why I wear a full face respirator when I'm doing sanding, but also quite often when anytime I'm working with spalted wood, I absolutely use it. Absolutely beautiful spalting. The graining in sycamore is absolutely beautiful, but that spalting just really takes it to another level. So what do you think? How about just a little splash of spalting? That's what I'm going to call this piece. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that project where we took that piece of spalted sycamore and turned the water drop Orth Splash vase. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Like I said, I really enjoy the name, just a splash of spalting. This is a larger piece. This is approximately, like I said, a little over 10.5 inches tall, a little over 8 inches wide at the widest portion of this. The spalting is absolutely amazing. I left a little bit of weight at the bottom with the walls thicker at the bottom and the base, just to keep it upright, have a nice heft to it, but nice and thin on the splash carvings. Just absolutely happy with this. Happy with Brad's workbench finish with the Tung honey. Can't see inside too well, but the spalting does go on throughout the entire piece. Like I said, this is another one of the pieces for the Ottoman Art Show in Wichita, September 13th through the 15th of 2024. If you're in the area, I hope to see you there. Come out, say hello. Come see the amazing art. If this is your first time at this channel, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit that bell to get notified anytime videos are posted. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Either way, leave your comments, feedback down below. I appreciate and read every single one of those. And definitely want to make sure that we can provide you with content that you want to see. So any of that feedback is always appreciated. At any rate, we're going to catch you next time.